The little girl met a huge wolf in the forest, but what she did was wonderful. Friends, do you believe in miracles? If you don't believe it, then this story is for you, of course. Most of you will have a hard time believing. What I'm going to tell you today, and frankly, it's not surprising because this case is unexplainable by science. No humans, not even the most seasoned experts, can explain it. A 25-year-old Rosa Kelly lives in Minnesota. Like thousands of other American women at the age of 24, the young woman becomes pregnant, and her lovely husband is excitedly expecting them with the arrival of the baby. Everything went as usual. Nothing surprising happened here. Rosa was 8 months pregnant at that time, and her life was as usual without any changes. In January 2014, Rosa was driving home, and she just came back from the city where there was a terrible snowstorm that day. It fell all night until morning. Snow covered everything. The ground was covered in 40 inches of snow, and Rosa was in her SUV a few miles from her home, when suddenly her car stopped and the young woman realized that she could no longer move forward. The service had to clear the road, but since it's not a major highway and it's not a busy arterial, it's just a small road in the forest, so they haven't gotten there yet. The car got stuck in a snowbank, and the woman made all attempts, but the results are hopeless. She can only watch the buggy get stuck on the track helpless. Rosa got out of the car hoping that a rescue vehicle would come to pick her up soon. But the blizzard was getting bigger, and no one showed up for a half an hour. The young woman was desperate. She was starting to freeze. She understood that her car couldn't go on because it didn't have enough gas, but the worst part is that it's already dark. The snow is getting heavier, and her heart is beating faster. She's afraid to stay here for too long. She is alone deep in the forest in the snowstorm on the snow-covered road, miles from home, and the city will be difficult for her to stay here until tomorrow. The road to the city was a bit shorter, so Rosa decided to walk back, and she made it through the snow and the blizzard. She managed to walk almost half a mile, and then something happened here that is unimaginable, even in the worst nightmare. Suddenly, the young woman was in a panic. She felt that she was going to give birth, and she knew she couldn't go any further, and she saw a place under the nearest tree, where there was less snow, and she had a hard time getting there, and all Rosa said was, "Oh God, why is this happening to me? Please help me." 5 minutes later, she lost consciousness from the cold and pain. You guys think that might be the end of the story. We might think that a few days later people will find a frozen body here, but actually what happened after that, it cannot be explained by science. I don't know how much time had passed since I passed out, Rosa recalls, but when I woke, I felt it was warm, my head on the back of a huge gray wolf. It was probably the leader of the pack. The other wolves, about 9 of them, surrounded me and blocked the blizzard. I didn't even have time to be scared. It was more like a dream. They didn't show any aggression and all circled me like a babysitter, and about 20 minutes later out in the snow. I gave birth to my baby. A female wolf carefully arched the umbilical cord. Then she and another wolf licked my baby as if it knew and understood what to do, and the rest of the wolves snuggled up to me to keep me warm. The female wolf was nibbling on the umbilical cord and nudging my baby gently towards me. My baby was crying, which meant he was alive, so I started nursing him, and during this time a wild predator was nearby with a dense wall, protects me from the blizzard, and I'm like one of their pack. They are there until I need their help, the chief licking the snow and tears off my cheeks. By then, Rosa's husband had started looking for his wife, as she was long overdue, and he and his neighbors drove a heavy truck towards her along the road the young woman had walked. On the way, they found the abandoned car covered in snow, and they continued to search, and they saw a pack of wolves, and they thought something terrible must have happened here. One of them picked up a gun and started shooting into the air, and the pack scattered. However, they didn't go away from the young woman and her baby. They came closer, and the husband found his wife with the newborn baby in her arms. "It was unbelievable," the man said afterward. "How could this be possible? I can't imagine something like this happening." The predator stayed around, and despite the presence of a pack and wolves, don't even bother to leave the place. They watch as people carry the woman and baby, who have been in their care, into the car, and an hour later the young woman is safely delivered City Hospital a few days after this incident. Rosa was interviewed by reporters, and they will surely not forget me, the woman said. I'm sure one day I'll find time to take my little Bill to visit them, and we'll go to the place where those feral, bloodthirsty carnivores saved me and my baby from death. I'm sure they will know me and my children. This is not an accidental situation. Of course, these days, we are inseparable from them. Rangers and hunters declined to comment on this incident. After all, they've never seen anything like it. Other experts believe that wolves can smell the child, so their maternal instincts kicked in, and of course they discouraged the young woman from meeting her wild savior, which they felt was dangerous. But Rosa Kamek thinks that she's nothing to worry about right now, and she's looking forward to seeing them. Friends, do you think this story has a scientific basis? Why didn't the wolves harm the girl and her child? Be sure to write your opinion in the comments. Wolves are one of the most mysterious animals out there. Their lifestyles and habits often startle people, but more than that, they inspire fear. Our story today takes place in Siberia, Russia, and it is told online by a man who works as a paramedic at the city hospital located near a forest, which many consider to be a rather good location, as one can enjoy the clean air and beautiful scenery. But then a strange story happened. People were walking normally into the hospital grounds when suddenly someone started screaming and yelling, "Run, it's a wolf!" Some did run while others froze, which had never happened before. Everyone knew there might be wolves in this forest, but no one saw them. Meanwhile, wolves just stand there watching people. Suddenly, the protagonist of our story, a paramedic, urges people to calm down and take no action, saying that wolves come to them for a reason, and they need to understand the reason first to understand what the animal needs. It is not afraid to come out of the forest. It just sits where he is most visible. Everyone froze in shock as the man walked slowly towards the wolf. After all, wolves are carnivores, and the man could be attacked and torn to pieces at any moment. But the wolf sat still, and paramedics approached. The wolf began examining him. The animal calmly asked him to do the examination, and then the man turned to the surprised people, and he told them that the wolf had come for help. Apparently, some unskilled hunter tried to shoot the wolf with a shotgun, and now he is wounded and in pain. The paramedic went to get his instruments and then returned to the wolf, who cleaned its wolves, clipped its hair, and began removing the bullets. Clearly, a shotgun caused the wound, and the doctor had to do everything without anesthesia. But the wolf was a perfect ideal patient, didn't even whimper, and when the man was done, the wolf went back into the forest and no one looked to him. The brave man later told them that he had grown up in a tiger village and that he had faced wolves more than once before. So he had learned to understand these animals, knowing that they're intelligent and noble, but even so, he is still amazed by the behavior of this wolf. How did he know the exact address of the hospital? Does he know this is where he can get help? And he took a huge risk to come to a place with so many people. Another majestic moment. In Alaska, one guy was blessed enough to have been rescued by a wolf. As he was strolling in a forest, reminiscing about a certain unforgettable moment in his life, a huge bear appeared. It frightened him so much that the bear even chased him up a tree. Thankfully, he was a kind-hearted person who earned the trust of the wolves in that area. Apparently, in that same forest, he was able to create a special bond with a wolf and her cubs 4 years ago. That same wolf saved him from being attacked by the bear. 4 years ago, the guy's first encounter was with a female wolf. He was shocked at the sight in front of him, too stunned to move, as the wolf might attack him. Then he noticed the wolf was injured because her foot was stuck in a trap. The man tried to approach her. However, the huge canine considered him a threat, making it challenging to move and close the trap. He had to devise a different plan to save her without hurting anyone. Eventually, he learned that the wolf was, in fact, a mother, and her cubs were hidden somewhere. The man searched for the cubs until he found them inside a den. He took the pups and carried them inside a bag. As soon as the mother saw her cubs, she called them and nursed them with her milk. It was a heartfelt reunion, but the man knew that the mother also needed to be fed. If not, she would not be able to produce the milk enough for her babies. He tried to search for food, and surprisingly, a dead deer was left on the tracks of the forest. Still, it wasn't enough. That night, he racked his brain for a plan to help him free the wolf. It must be a plan that would make her trust him even more. And the right answer was there all along. He needed to earn her trust by showing her that he was no threat to her babies. Slowly but surely, the man was able to feed and stock her. The wolf must have sensed that he was a genuine person. Soon enough, she warmed up to him. The man found the perfect time to remove her foot from the trap, and he did it successfully. It was like the mother wolf's way of thanking him, and surely it became one of his core memories. And who would have thought that she would remember a human like him? That magical experience did not stop there, as they met again in the same forest. Animals never cease to amaze us. If you agree with this point, please give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time.